I gotta put this out here because I haven't heard not one person even so much as breathe the idea. But I just had this incredible thought run through my head. Everybody knows, Microsoft has gotten a little friendly with Nintendo lately. From the huge cross-play beatdown on PlayStation to games like Cuphead coming to the Switch. Why is nobody talking about the fact that with them being so chummy, Nintendo now has more of a reason for the N64 Mini to be released? They're in a good relationship, right? The main reason we say a N64 Mini cannot happen is because who owns Rare? Microsoft. Well, Microsoft, you're good with Nintendo, right? Absolutely. And Nintendo, you're good with Microsoft, right? Absolutely. Hey, you own Rare. Would you mind if we used a couple of the games that, started on Nintendo with the N64 that Rare owns? You mind if we put those on an emulator box that we make ourselves to celebrate the Nintendo 64? You think we could do that? Like, you think you would like to collab on something like that, Xbox? That sounds like a great idea because it's going to bring in a fuck ton of money. And because we're Microsoft, Nintendo, you can't necessarily shortchange your customers this time. This is going to be a huge release. Why is nobody talking about this? Why has nobody thought this thought? Why has nobody had the idea that this is a bigger possibility now? The biggest thing holding the N64 Mini back was simplistically the fact that Rare is owned by Microsoft. That's the biggest thing. Because a lot of games, Perfect Dark, Donkey Kong, Conker's Bad Fur Day, just to name a few, GoldenEye, which is the N64's like go-to baby game, which is, when I say that, I don't mean kiddie. I mean that was Call of Duty before Call of Duty. This was the game that you played. Why would this not be a possibility? You dig what I'm saying? Why is this not even being talked about? Why? I don't understand why. This is the one thing that everyone is saying is holding Nintendo back from a N64 Mini. I think with them being so chummy, this is the perfect time to announce a N64 Mini with all those great Rare titles on it, including the Marios, the Mario Karts, the introduction to Super Smash Bros. When people say there is nothing good on Nintendo 64, I look at them and say, you're a special kind of stupid, aren't you? And they always tell me, what do I mean? And I tell them simply this: do you not understand how many great games got introduced to the third dimension in such a well-rounded fashion that they became legends of this thing we call a hobby? Oh my god. To say there is nothing good on N64 shows stupidity. I don't care who you're mainly for in the wars. I don't care if you're pro Nintendo. I don't care if you're pro Xbox. I don't care who it is. I don't care if you're pro Sony. I could care less. Okay? The point is, to say there is nothing good about one console shows pure ignorance. Okay? Even myself can admit, Uncharted 4 is a great game. The Order of 1886 isn't for everybody, but to me it told a great story. It was so good and so different from what we have turned into now. That's why I like that game. God of War, the new one, not the remastered third one. God of War 4, amazing. Yes, it got on my nerves, but that doesn't mean that I can't appreciate the attention to the detail in that game. That doesn't mean that I can't appreciate the story behind that game. You get what I'm saying? It's not like I have to hate a Sony title because it's not from Nintendo or some shit. No. Okay? I can appreciate good games. You get what I'm saying? That I can do. And like I said, to say that there is nothing good on one particular platform is to show ignorance. You dig what I'm saying? Sonic might not be for you, but you have to respect who Sonic is and what he's meant to the gaming industry as a whole. Okay? That's the part of gaming that I think a lot of people don't understand. They talk shit about games just because they want to. You get what I'm saying? Because you can talk shit about a game without even trying, bruh. But it's harder to talk shit about a game when the bitch has been around for some time. You get what I'm saying? The whole debate with Horizon and Breath of the Wild, that was the dumbest debate because it shouldn't even been a debate. Horizon is a great game, but it doesn't hold a candle to Zelda. Zelda has the one thing on its side. Horizon doesn't. Test of time. And more than one Zelda game has stood the test of time. And I mean a lot more than one, considering how many of them have been remade now. How many of them have jumped platforms. That is how amazing Zelda Legacy is. A brand new IP can be good, but it's got no legacy. It has no clout. It has no anything. It can never be compared. So when I hear that, oh, you know, this system doesn't have anything, I'm like, yo, hold on now. I don't like that company, but I can tell you some really good fucking games. You dig what I'm saying? To say there was nothing good on N64 is like saying there was nothing good on PlayStation. So we're just going to ignore games like Silent Hill, Metal Gear Solid, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, Nemesis. We're just going to ignore games like that. We're just going to ignore Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9. We're just overlooking, you know, The Legend of Dragoon, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon. We're just going to overlook all these amazing titles. Like, that's how we're going to do this? I can't do that. I might not like a console, but one thing I cannot say is there's no games on any console, regardless of the generation. That's a fucking lie. To say there was nothing on the Wii U is a lie. You don't like the Wii U, that's fine. But please, take 2 steps back, exhale, and go, oh, my bad, I completely forgot. It did introduce things like Splatoon to the world. It did actually bring back a franchise people really wanted to see. Bayonetta. Okay? It had Twilight Princess, it's got Breath of the Wild, it's got Wind Waker, Mario Maker, which is a new Mario idea, which is just fucking amazing in of its own rights, and is getting a part 2 on the Switch. You can say you don't like a system, but to admit that it has no games is to admit stupidity. That's real. No matter how much I hate the PS3, they got Uncharted. So I don't care how bad the PS3 was. It's got Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, pimpin'. Brand new IP. Damn good brand new IP. MotorStorm. I liked MotorStorm when it first came out for the PS3. Oh my god. We spent forever playing that game in Walmart because we couldn't afford to buy a PS3. We still po now, but PS3 was just rich folk money because we wasn't making no $600 like that. We was barely pulling 100 in a week. You dig what I'm saying? So we played the shit out of it at Walmart though. Every night we went from 12 to about 3:30, maybe 4, and we was just playing MotorStorm the whole time. You know, eventually I did get my own PS3 and I played the games that I wanted to play, which is the Uncharted series, but I can't say it didn't have any games. You dig what I'm saying? This comes from a guy who does not like the PS3. I can't stand that system. Sony really screwed themselves, so much so they almost went out of business with that system. There's a reason to not like the PS3. It almost cost Sony their entire existence. Alright? That being said, I can never say there's no games. Same thing with Dreamcast. Dreamcast actually has really solid games that have actually stood the test of time. Some of them you question how, and others you're like, okay, cool. Granted, the Dreamcast wasn't the N64. Yes, it was more powerful, but for Sonic wasn't shown the same love as Mario when it came to translation of a 3D platform, which was what Sonic is. It didn't translate well. You dig what I'm saying? We got games like Shenmue on the Dreamcast. You dig what I'm saying? House of the Dead 2, Typing of the Dead, shit like that. The fucking system had great games. If you were a Sega guy, it was definitely a good system. Hell, I'm not a Sega guy, but the fact that you could play Resident Evil 2 and 3 on that bitch, plus the VMU on that actually interacts with those games, therefore it's entertaining to watch because it's your health bar. That was great. I loved it. You know what I'm saying? And again, I wasn't a Sega guy. I am a Nintendo guy. Born and raised a Nintendo guy. You dig what I'm saying? So, I can still respect the Dreamcast. Okay? So please, when we argue about games, one, stop comparing brand new to, already established. And two, stop saying there's no games on something when there are plenty of games out there. You just don't like what it is. You don't have to like it, but it exists. Feel me?